7:09, I call the meeting to order. Judy, you can take a roll. Number 2, approval of the consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of routine nature normally approved at board meetings will be approved by one vote unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and the approval of the following A through P. And if you guys need time to go through there, look at anything, time to do that.
Quite a bit on the building fund, if you kind of notice that, if you kind of see through the expenditures what all we did, concrete under the bleachers, the elementary, junior high and elementary Monica, auditorium concrete. I don't know if you've noticed that over in front of the auditorium, we redid that sidewalk and this handicap, because it was all broken up, so we did that. Have you seen the windows?
I've seen the windows, and then under the bleachers looks great.
Oh my goodness, so I don't worry that anybody can't get out in case of a fire on that end anymore. They just look beautiful. And there's also a door in Mr. Guppy's old room that now people can get out. Because that window was like really up high and it was really small. I was always so worried that we would lose somebody just because there was no clear exit. Now there is, and there was no good. So. And then the portables over the elementary got carpet. They're a lot quieter now. And it looks really good. I saw that. It looks really good. And there's a concrete walkway on the outside of Heather's room where she has the hospitality room. And she also has her storage building for clothes and food program. So we instead of them going out there backing in and out and bringing all that mud and stuff in when we have rain, we just went ahead and did a really nice concrete walk right there that also connects to the gym. So when we have games and people go to the hospitality room, they can actually go out that door and right into the back door of if they want to. You can still walk down the hall if you want to. So we did so a lot of, I think everybody's seen. And I don't know if you've noticed all the painting that we did. Looks really, really good. Everything is really very uniform now. And so, it's been a good summer, and Sharon and her crew have worked really hard. I cannot say enough about the halls, the shiny floors. He left us to move to Weatherford. Casey did, who does the floor. And he may have to come back every summer and do those floors because it does such a good job. But it looks really good, and so I just want you to know that we've worked hard this summer and done some really good things for the school.
Other questions, concerns, A through P? If not, do I have a motion? Amber's made a motion, Desiree second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Wilhite,
Yes.
Braden also.
Back to the full board, Judy, you know the option.
It's nice to have you all here.
Number 3, discussion and vote to provide free breakfast for certified and non-certified staff in the school district for the 1920 school year.
We approve this every year because it is a benefit on everybody's contract. Also, if there ever comes a time where we couldn't afford it, we would not approve it. And so at this time, we're just fine. We're still able to provide that benefit, and I recommend that we continue to do so. If you have any questions about it, sure ask, because I have a lot of schools that call and ask how we do it. And I just tell them what I do. But I don't want to be in an orange jumpsuit, so I tell them I think I'm doing okay. But
I think it's great. Questions? Do I have a motion? Desiree motion.
Second.
Amber second. Second, Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Number 4, discussion and vote to approve the 1920 ODCT contract for the Secondary Career and Technology Education Program.
This is just saying that you approve us continuing our relationship with Career Tech and our kids being able to go over there.
I'll second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Number 5, discussion and vote to approve the 11th and 12th grade mathematics and science courses taken from the Career Technology Centers for the 1920 school year, 70 US 11-136.
They have to do that for their records so that you have approved that we're going to send our children over to Career Tech and they're going to get math and science credits on their diploma from the Technology Center.
Is that something that they've already enrolled in, than the students
When they go,
themselves, or is that something that happens at home?
when they go over to the Technology Center, I think they put them in those things. Am I right about that, Mr. Hickman?
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically accreditation requirement that they just specifically have to be told that we approve those classes. I mean, they've already pre-enrolled
I see.
for next year. I mean, they do that at the end of the spring every year. They pre-enroll.
Okay.
And then we have some kids that end up backing out and some end up going.
Like the math and science thing, yeah, if they're needing it, if they're enrolled in VOTEC, but they still need the math or science credit, they can't get it because they're in VOTEC, they pull them out for an hour
Okay.
of their VOTEC class, and they go to math or science, and they go back to their VOTEC class.
I gotcha.
I wasn't sure how set in stone that was, if somebody needed to go
Over there for what science or math? class?
after the school year kind of started. All right, any other questions on 12, or 5, I'm sorry, number 5?
Motion to approve.
Amber's made a motion, for a second.
Second.
Desiree, second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Willhite,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes. Switching it up on us. Number 6, proposed executive session to discuss the employment of personnel so that the board may return to open session and vote to employ or find a reason not to employ the person pending background checks and discussion of the purchase of appraisal of real property 25 OS 307B1. 25 OS 307B1. Yes. Okay. Motion.
Motion.
I'll second. Judy?
Littlefield, Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
7:17.
Here was a trick.
Get my breath left.
Number 8, acknowledge the board's return to open session.
Motion to return.
Members made a motion, I'll second.
Littlefield,
Yes?
Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
8:08. When you're ready.
During the executive session, we discussed the employment of personnel so that we can return to open session and vote to employ or by reason not to employ said personnel, pending background checks and discussion of the purchase of or appraisal of real property.
Number 10, vote to employ or find reason not to employ the following personnel, 25 OS 370B1, A, B, and C.
I recommend that we hire Mark Smithy, certified staff, Karen Parker, support, and Grant Walmore for support.
Have a motion? Amber's made a motion.
I'll second.
Desiree, second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Number 11 will be no action. Number 12, discussion and vote to approve or not to approve the middle school, high school handbook changes for the 1920.
I am going to ask Bryce to just hit the highlight so that you'll know what the changes are.
I think they're in the back of their packets there. I'll start with the first thing. Talking with Mrs. Jordan and some of the conversations that we've had, we felt like adding this current course, student parent contract for any of our juniors and seniors that take current classes, either through Northwestern or some other university. Just to kind of, really clearly outline and communicate with those students and those parents, really what their expectations and their responsibilities are when they take on those courses. Once they enroll in those classes over there, whether it be Northwestern or whatever, we can't check grades like we do if they're enrolled in a class here. And so we've had some instances, in the past a couple times where things weren't communicated. Maybe a kid dropped a class, nobody knew about it. And then comes time, we've got to clean the mess up. And so this policy basically just, I won't read it word for word there, but it just outlines, like I said, those expectations and it kind of makes it known there that responsibility is the student and the parents. There are issues, how to communicate those things with us. We do have say on whether or not those students really can enroll in those classes, because it's not going to keep them on track to graduate. We don't want them in there. So we have that up front, but once they get in those classes, like I said, we can't call and do a grade check or anything like that at that point, unless they give us that information. But that's what that is for concurrent. We didn't feel like we needed to put this whole thing necessarily in the handbook there, but there will be a reference made to it where they can get the information and when during enrollment that they would have to have those signed. That's what the concurrent. Is there any questions about that before I move on? The next one is the internship program. Kind of the same thing, just really having this agreement to communicate expectations and the different responsibilities. This is something that I think we've done at times in the past here. There's been some internship opportunities, but nothing recently, unless I'm wrong on that. But this would give some kids an opportunity to go out during the day if they didn't have a class that they needed to take at that particular time. They could go to one of the banks, they could go to a mechanic here in town. They'd have a chance there to get some real life experience, on-the-job training type things. And so the guidelines that she's got listed out there, just kind of lay that program out. Who can qualify for it, what you have to be able to do that. And this policy, she did a really good job of putting this together, because it's very in-depth. What the school's responsibility would be, the employer has a responsibility. There's some evaluations listed in there along with the releases. Asking the employer to really give us a good description of what it is that they're going to be doing. It's not just an hour off and go hang out somewhere. So, I feel like she did a very thorough job of putting that together. So again, we wouldn't really add that whole policy, other than we would make mention of it and know that it's there. It'll have to be signed off on by students, parents, administrators, and employers for students to be able to take that opportunity. The other things, as far as the handbook goes, listed here, I've just kind of outlined them. There's really nothing that that's real big that we're changing. Starting with the first one, we wanted to kind of just, we kind of always operated under this. but it's not been in the handbook. If any child is running a fever due to illness, shall remain at home until they have been fever-free for 24 hours. That's been in the elementary handbook for a while, I think, but it's not just been stated in ours, so we're just kind of trying to align some of those things with what their policies are. That's kind of the first edition there. Number 2, dealing with students leaving school during the day. We have the kiosk and the check-in systems. We've made lots of improvements with school security, so we're just trying to get everybody on the same page with that. So everything that's been added here really is just explaining a little bit more in detail how students need to be checked out during the day when school's going on, so that it's there, it's clear that they need to go in and out, do the main office, do the checkout procedure so that we can account for them. We're not changing anything in here, telling people that they can't take them out for anything like that. We're just trying to get a little better at how we do that so that we can account for them a little more. Students going from mainly it's from the high school, going to the elementary. We get kids with yearbook or other organizations that need to go back and forth at those times. We want them to come to the office, check out, do the same thing, because they're going to have to go through the front doors of the elementary and check in there. And there's, they can put the app, if they have a driver's license, just like we do as adults, and do that a little bit quicker, but just being accountable for them, so that we know that where they're at, when they're going. We did put in there that they're not allowed to drive their personal vehicles from one building to another unless they get permission from the building principal to do that. If it is something where it is necessary, if they got to haul something over or something like that, we can do that. But we don't want them just going out there getting their cars and taking off during the day like that. Number 4 on that, if students are checked out during the school day to attend school activities on campus and are not participating, they must have a parent present with them. That probably should go ahead and read at the activity, just to be very clear there. But kind of had a problem. I don't know. He'll probably tell you what's going on maybe a little longer, but the last couple of years it just seems that we're getting a lot of kids that are getting checked out. There's a basketball game, track meet, something going on here at school. Parents are calling, coming up, checking them out, sending them to the ball games. We can't tell anybody they can't take the kid. That's not what we're trying to do, but if they're going to take them out of class, they need to be responsible for them while they're on our campus. And so that's something we've talked about at length. And we feel like by doing this and putting that in there, if you want to take your child out during the day, it's really your responsibility, because you can't check them out and then have them in here with kids that are either working a ball game or doing something here. Are they our responsibility or are they not? There's just a lot of gray area there. So we're just trying to kind of be a little bit more accountable that way.
An example of that would be, a parent checks a kid out, supposedly go to the track meet, I'm walking around doing stuff, I find the student down in the classroom hanging out in the auditorium, what are you doing here? Oh, well, I'm checked out. Well, no, you're not checked out to be here. So that's kind of the background of what that's.
So at that point, what do? You call the parents or just ask them to?
Well, that's kind of what we've done, is we go there and we try to get them back where they need to be. And, we have kids check out a lot. If there's an activity out of town, tournament Northwestern, they get checked out and they go over there and they, like I said, I can't really stop parents from checking their kids out that way, even though we may not agree with Lynn and those things all the time, but we can't control what goes on our campus. And so just, for everybody's safety and, like I said, the accountability of it, we felt like that's a step that we could take that would be in the right direction. And maybe encourage them to send plaques to kids.
Some kids become bigger fans when the games are during the day, when they can miss class, they become a bigger.
Needs a little bit more to it, but
A little more passion.
yeah.
But we know that there are going to be times with some older students that, you know, they may have a younger brother or sister playing in the game, or maybe it's food parade, or you know, something like that, and, you know, if the parents are going to take them out, they need to be responsible for them at that point. I think that's it as far as everything there with the permit to leave school, that section. Number 3, we wanted to go ahead and clearly state we have operated under this for the past, since I've been here, I'm sure, like I said, Jeremy, probably longer. As far as the drug testing, and if there's a failure of a drug test, those consequences, that's been our policy. The student will be suspended from participating in all extracurricular activities. We have included prom and dances and things like that, but it wasn't stated here in the handbook, so we felt like we needed to make sure to get that clearly stated in there. Any questions so far? Number 4 says addition to the sections in red. I can see now that it's all black and white. The section under where it starts with unweighted classes, we have done this. I believe we've had this approved for 2 years, but it hadn't made it into the handbook. So we have been doing this as approved, weighting those courses differently like it's stated there. We just needed to make sure that we got that like it needed to be there in the handbook. I did remove, there was a section that said athletic grades would be in S, N, and U. We haven't done that in a long time. So just cleaning some things up there as far as that goes. Testing updates, Mrs. Jordan always adds, you know, she's got high school juniors who will be taking ACT science and U.S. history. So I'll look at that, yeah. Number 5 there was just talking about those first 2 contracts and agreements that we discussed. Other than that, I mean, our handbook's getting pretty lengthy, but that's really all of the kind of additions and changes and considerations that we have for this year. Any questions?
Thanks for being proactive. George made a motion, I'll second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes?
Willhite,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Number 13, discussion and vote to approve librarian statutory waiver deregulation for library K through 12 for the 1920 school year, WOS section 326. Haley Cudmore.
There's very few, when you have a degree and you want to teach, you can go alternative certified. But if you want to be an administrator or a librarian, you can't do it without the coursework. If you have a degree in math and you want to teach school, you can take the tests and you can get that on a certificate and you can be a teacher. Library is one of the areas they won't let you do that. Haley has a degree in communications, so what we have to do is ask the State Department for a deregulation for 3 years to allow her to take those courses to become a certified librarian. Since I've been here, that's what we've done every year because there's not a lot of library science people that are moving around a lot that we've had the opportunity to hire. Now, we've been fortunate to get good people. It's just they've not stayed, or we changed or moved someplace else. So So this deregulation would be for us to allow Haley to be the librarian while she's working on becoming a librarian.
Questions? I'll make a motion to approve Haley Cudmore as a library statutory waiver. Gibson second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Number 14, discussion and vote to approve adjunct teaching status for the 1920 for Brooke Meyer and Lindy Cudmore.
When you already have a degree in teaching in with Lindy science, the state allows you to teach 2 hours of something that is not on your certificate because a lot of schools need an hour or 2 of this here or there. So Brooke is actually the career tech teacher, and we have to approve that for their accreditation, and also so that we can put their classes on our transcript and be legal. Lindy is going to teach 1, maybe 2, I'm not sure, I haven't looked at their schedule, of a class that she doesn't have on her certificate, but is allowed by the state for those hours. So that will be for Brooke Meyer and Lindy Cudmore. And last year we had a social studies also. Amanda Stinnett was doing world history, world geography, I believe. And I guess your schedule, you were able to work it out in your schedule that somebody that has that certification is now teaching that.
Yeah, the state allows you, any teacher you have certified can teach 3 hours outside of their normal teaching. So that's something that they just allow in case the schedule comes up and you need a health teacher or math or science, you can do that for 3 hours for that teacher. So that's what we do. And yeah, we didn't do that for Amanda this year.
Any other questions? Motion? Desiree's made a motion. I'll second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Number 15, discussion and vote to add Bryce Schombacher to the signature card at ACB Bank for the activity fund account. Bryce Schombacher is the athletic director this year and will need to be able to sign the activity fund checks.
You'd be able to get Bryce to sign, because there's a lot of officials that have to be paid pretty quick.
Second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Willhite,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Number 16, principals reports.
Countdown's on now. All the teachers have been up working in classrooms. And so far, I've got 19 new ones online that have enrolled online, so,
Almost 1,500.
yeah, I've got a few more. And then I'm not sure how many I've lost yet. Final enrollments Wednesday, Thursday, when they come sign the papers. And get a little clearer picture of how many we're going to have. And then we'll be working on our after-school daycare. Trying to see how that's going to go.
Very good. I know Ms. Anderson touched on this, the shape and the outlook of the facilities. In the 10 years I've been back, that's probably the nicest I've seen the exterior look. I'm biased, but I don't really like the color brown. And they have really brightened the outside of the building up, and she said that just everything looks really nice. Miss Cherokee is this week, Thursday at 7 p.m. I should know how many girls are competing. I saw it in the paper. There's quite a few. Yeah. Lacey Hogger does that, and they'll do a good job. We've had a lot of people in and out of the office getting ready. Teachers have been up, so I think we're going to be very ready for the first few days. What else? Softball starts next week, so they jump right into it. We have professional days. First day of school is August 16th. Mr. Schombacher will be starting football practice. I think they started cross country this morning.
Yes.
Okay. And then our Alva County Teachers meeting is here on the 23rd. us Timberlake and Burlington. And then that's also your first scrimmage, right? So I think everything's going good as far as I know. We have, as of right now, I've counted 7 new students, but we've only had 145 enroll so far, so we're up at least 7 right now.
Elementary, we have back to school night, or meet the teachers on 15th at 5:30, so. Most of you have kids there. Huh?
What day?
15th,
Thursday.
Thursday.
Then
And see what all our, we get to our facilities,
Really,
5:30?
5:30.
really good. We're not good.
Got me going. Just see if the rain, see if it works.
Yeah.
And she also got the, something we're looking at for the other windows that face the outside. She got the film on her windows, and then in the teacher's workroom on the other side. Looks really good. And you can't see in, but when I was in Rock, you could see out.
So then I
So,
can leave my blinds open so I can really see a lot more people walking up.
Yeah.
and then we'll do that on, by next summer on
And
the,
it's cooler.
those windows that
Oh,
are,
it's on out,
four classrooms.
Fourth grade, second grade.
Place that.
Yeah.
Works really good. And if you, I'm still impressed with the bathrooms, so if you guys get a chance, go look at the bathrooms.
The
It's
tile
just-
looks really nice. Automatic flushers, the kids are really so sad. It's the little things.
Technology and Thank you.
Bryce, you have anything, athletic director, assistant principal?
Calendar fills up pretty quick. Thank you, principals. 17, Soup's report.
Just a brief report on the Safe Sidewalks to School ODOT grant. We met with the city, Mike and I met, or had a meeting with ODOT and our consultant, who is the architect of the plan. Within the next 90 days, we should start to see some movement with 5th and 7th Street getting redone, and on Grand at 5th and 7th, there'll be new crosswalks installed for the kids to be able to walk. And then the walking trail that starts behind the complex that will go up the railroad track and all the way to the swimming pool. So pretty exciting to get all of that updated and get it going. So we're waiting on the county mitigation plan to be submitted to submit our plans for 5th and 6th grade FEMA bill to see if we can get approved for FEMA to pay for the majority of a building that would be a shelter for our big enough for our entire community, and also some additional classroom space that, as you can see, it looks like we're going to be at quite a few kids this year. That's great news. Speaks a lot to what our teachers do, what our staff, the education that kids get here. So I congratulate all of our teachers, staff, administrators on all of the hard work that's put in and all the good work that's done here. We're also getting ready to start school back up. We had a administrators mini retreat at the Cherokee station where we had 12 people sit in a room together and really hash out little things that come up through the year. I thought it was a really good informational meeting. We kind of all got on the same page to start it all off. We'll have a new teacher meeting on Thursday from 9 to noon where we'll go over all policies and questions and things about that, because we have quite a few new teachers this year. And then we'll start in service next Tuesday. Jeff Yalden is coming back to meet with our teaching staff for a day, our kids for a day, do on Thursday night before school starts on Friday. He'll do a community assembly program for all of our community to come in and listen to Jeff talk about everything from teen mental health to choices and staying the right path and those kind of things. And then on Friday he'll meet with the high school kids and the middle school kids and and do what he does best, work his magic with developing relationships with kids and feeling like they have someone they can talk to if they need someone to hear them. So we're really excited about this year. I just can't say enough about this new staff and the staff that are still here. So it's a great day to be a chief, that's for sure.
18, new business.
There's no new business.
19, do I have a motion? Amber's made a motion to adjourn. I'll second. Judy?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Time?
8:35.